Can you not remember ever being warm and close and in a loving relationship with her at all?
Well, as a kid, you know, because you have this image of mommy, you know, for protection. And I once saw something happen on a train that sort of, I thought, you know, symbolized my whole relationship with her. I saw a mother beat the shit out of her kid?
Yeah.
She beat the shit out of her. And then the kid was sobbing. And then the kid went to her mother, you know, for consolation. And I thought that summed up my whole relationship. She's the one who drove me nuts in the first place. But then I'd go to her. But she was the one who was inflicting the pain. So you set up that kind of vicious circle.
Why do you think she was inflicting all this pain?
Oh, you know, these are mother-daughter relationships that are real complex.
Yes.
I have no idea. She's, you know, there's a lot of violence.
Yeah.
And then as I grew older, I think it was jealousy, too, because my mother was a real beauty. I mean, a real knockout, you know.
Yeah.
She just sort of strolled out of Germany.
Yeah.
Strolled out of Germany. She didn't get stopped.
So your concern with your appearance was
so
exacerbated.
as she got older and I was young, you know, I think a lot of that came into it.
But when you were talking about your 8-year-old self, you were focusing so much on
she
your
has
appearance.
a nervous affliction.
Was that...
That wasn't toward me so much. She can't stand, you know, there's a disease, and I keep meaning to look it up so I can snap it off at a dinner party, you know, where they can't stand disorder. You know, like, if we were sitting here, that wire would have to be in a parallel line. I mean, she's actually screamed, make the television parallel to the wall, parallel! And she gets on her haunches and moves the television so that it's actually lined at parallel angles with the wall because that angle kills her. So she can never leave the house till like 4 in the afternoon because everything in the house has to be symmetrically arranged. Plus she's got 2 sponges all the time.
Yes.
And she can't stop wiping. So that's an illness.
Yes. So
it's also a great source of humor, too.
Yes.
I've used it a lot.
Turning it into humor obviously makes it less painful for you.
Well, I'd have this hell of a home, and then I'd go out and deliver what just happened to friends, and it would turn into stunning, stunning monologues.
If your capacity to make jokes out of things broke down, would you get depressed? What would happen?
Well, that does happen sometimes. It does break down. And then I go right down and become depressive. You know, I can't come up with it. I can't, it's the turbo engine, you know, it's an extra dimension you get.
Yeah.
It's like models being born with long legs, and suddenly they wake up one day and they're hacked off at the knee. So you feel incapacitated. And it does happen. I have spells of it. You try to remember, you know, it's like a period. It'll go away. You'll get it back. But when you're in it, it's just hell.
Are you frightened by that, the fact that you have that potentiality to go under in that way?
It doesn't make me feel good. But then when you surface out of it again.
But now you're out of it. Now.
I'm out of it now.
Right.
You could probably tell if I was in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it very frightening to you now, out of it, to think that there's this kind of dreadful thing that could happen to you, that you could...
It does happen. I mean, it's happened all my life. I have spells.
But sitting here now, is it frightening to realize that that can happen to you? I would imagine it must be.
Yeah, yeah.
And of course,
but because you know, it's like I'm in my high now, so I don't want to think about it.
Yes, that's what I...
You know?
Yes.
It doesn't happen suddenly, like in the next minute I won't suddenly go morose on you.
No.
It really does have a pretty good lead up.
Sure.
I know it's coming. It's like being an epileptic.
Yeah.
You know, there's warnings.
Yeah. But I mean, I suppose the ultimate fear would be that it would happen and you wouldn't be able to escape from it.
That's the ultimate fear, sure. But then I'll just go and live by myself somewhere, in a cabin, because I don't want anybody to see this. I wouldn't inflict it on anybody else.
Obviously, this feeling like that about your parents would inevitably lead you to react against them and against what they stand for to some extent. In what respects have you reacted against that? I mean, your life...
I think I did my career is rebellion.
Yes.
It's a real kick up the ass.
Yes. Starting with leaving college and going to live in Glasgow, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All that because it wasn't like it wasn't a natural. It wasn't a natural move. It wasn't like, isn't she talented? She should go to drama school. I was in my bad patch, and my father just said, here's some money because otherwise you're going to a hospital. So he thought it would be better to send me to Glasgow, though he knew I was never going to be an actress. I was a wreck.
Right.
So just to spite the guy, I learned how to be an actress. Not a great one. Oh, yeah. Oh, no, I wasn't good. I was awful. But I thought I'd just get my father back. so I started studying really hard. Decided to get myself in the RSC, and he still wouldn't give me cred after I got in there. He still wouldn't give it to me. It's only recently he's given me a little bit a break.
Your parents are quite well-to-do, though, aren't they?
I thought they were. They're not that great anymore. You know, not in the climate of things. Which is sort of sad, because most of my life has been motivated by getting the inheritance. This is really, am I the most honest person that's ever done this? And so when I used to go, my mother'd take me down to look at the will, but she'd never really let me get a peek at the numbers. She'd just rattle the paper around and torture me. So I've waited all my life for that will, and now I don't think it's that much.
It's interesting talking
Certainly
to you
isn't worth the price I paid.
Yeah. I mean, what was the history of your sexual life?
Oh.
When did it start
It's
in
going
your
to get
mind?
more depressing.
Yeah.
We've got to get a subject that's going to lighten this up. It's really, you're hitting all my little targets here.
Well, I mean...
No, I haven't had great, that area has been very, it's been sort of, I don't know the word to use, failures, a lot of flops, because I wasn't trained correctly.
Right.
Or I wasn't given the right equipment or something,
Yeah. So when
God,
did you
if
come
I
into
could handle
puberty?
people. If I knew what, people always say, if I knew what I knew now, I
Yeah.
would have just had a better life, but I didn't know it.
What age did you start to consciously think about sex, to be aware?
When I had sex, I started thinking about it.
And when was that?
Well, like, 18 or 17.
Right.
Yeah.
And how did it come about
Yes.
if you were such an innocent? Did it completely...
I just lay there like a diving board, because I figured that's the only way I'd get the guy.
Yeah,
And so it was pretty hideous.
Yeah.
I couldn't figure out why I was dumped.
yeah.
But, I sort of lay there fully clothed. I didn't know you were supposed to move around.
What sort of relationships do you tend to have with men? I mean, are there any patterns to them?
They all look different. I hope to change the wallpaper all the time. But they're all smart.
Right.
But it's always, I've attempted to go and find somebody that's interesting and then, go from there. But it's never worked out. It's always they're my friend, and then that's
I see.
sort of going into that.
And do you become very dependent on them?
Well, when I was really screwed up, at a younger age, I would become the victim, and I'd let him become daddy so he could beat me, because that's what I knew.
And that would be what, repeating your relationship
Repeating the
with your
pattern,
father?
yeah. Oh, yeah. And the harder he hit, the more there was, pain but pleasure, because at least you knew it.
So you actually had boyfriends who actually...
Not beat me physically, but beat
Were
me mentally.
sadistic
I
to
handed
you.
him the whip, yeah. I would drive him to it.
How likely do you think it is that you'll either go mad or kill yourself?
I don't think I'll kill myself. I mean, I haven't got that. But it's not madness in the sense that I would suddenly be in a straitjacket. But there'd be an unhappiness.
But psychotically depressed?
That's depressed. But I don't know, as you get older, all these hormones, back to the hormone theory, they sizzle down. So I might end up a really fat, happy woman who's running the village post office. That might happen. And they say, remember her?